The Rockford IceHogs welcome in the Texas Stars to BMO Harris Bank Center this evening to begin a two-game weekend set against their longtime Central Division rivals and also continue on their season-long six-game homestand. Hello, everybody. Joseph Zakrzewski back with you for this episode of IceHogs Warmup. Coming up on the program, we're going to hear from assistant coach Jared Nightingale, get his take on the IceHogs play as of late. They've dropped their last two contests, but hope to get back to their winning ways like what they did to begin the homestand. And we'll also hear from some great community partners around the state line area as the IceHogs are celebrating their 11th annual Autism Awareness Night tomorrow night in the rematch against the Stars. But for the IceHogs and Stars, it's their first get-together since December, so let's take a quick look at the updated Central Division standings. The IceHogs enter tonight with a record of 14-13, 1-1. They've dropped their last two contests, but still hold tight to the fourth place in the Central Division. Whereas the Texas Stars, they have points in each of their last two games, but just 2 wins overall in their last 10. They sit at the bottom of the division with a 9-14, 4-1 standing. The division is still led by the Chicago Wolves. They got points in 8 of their last 10 games. In fact, for Chicago, they just came off a big victory over the IceHogs on Monday afternoon. Then number 2, still holding tight, is the Manitoba Moose, but the Grand Rapids Griffins in third place. They are on a 3-game point streak and trying to rise quickly. The IceHogs nestled in fourth, but they got to keep a close eye on the Iowa Wild, who are right behind them. They are just 2 1/1000ths of a percentage point behind the IceHogs. So Rockford needing to pick up some points here quickly. And then you have the Milwaukee Admirals in 6th and the Texas Stars in 7th. The Hogs hit the halfway mark of their season-long 6-game homestand this evening. Tonight, game number 4 as they welcome in the Texas Stars. They're 1-2-0 on the homestand so far, and they would open things up last Friday with a 5-2 win against the Cleveland Monsters, but then would drop gatherings against the Monsters on Saturday, and then an afternoon get-together against Chicago on Monday afternoon. And in that last outing on Monday, it was a 5-3 setback for the IceHogs. They were led by forward Lucas Reichel with the goal and an assist. Forward Michael Tepley would have 2 assists in the hockey game, and goaltender Arvid Soderblom was quite busy. He would have to make 40 saves to keep the IceHogs close. Forward Dylan McLaughlin would strike in that contest as well. He remains the hot stick for the IceHogs as of late. He enters tonight on a 5-game point streak with 3 goals and 5 assists, and it's his second 5-game point streak of the year and still trying to catch up to forward Brett Connolly, who's now with the Chicago Blackhawks. He grabbed a season-high 6-game point streak at the end of October and into the beginning of November. And also for Lucas Reichel, picked up where he left off. Monday's game was his first action since returning to the IceHogs from the Chicago Blackhawks during his 2-game run, including his National Hockey League debut. He would have a goal and an assist against the Wolves, and he enters tonight on a 3-game point streak with 4 goals and 4 assists. 2 weekends ago, he was named the AHL Player of the Week with a large chunk of those points, but he also has 10 points over his last 5 games, including 5 tallies. From a Texas Stars perspective, they're enjoying life out on the road, though they do come to the Midwest where it's rather cold compared to Cedar Park, Texas, so maybe they're anxious to get back home sooner rather than later. But tonight is game number 4 of a 6-game road trip for them, and overall they just have 1 win over their last 5 games. They begin their road trip with a split weekend against the Charlotte Checkers out east, a 6-5 win on Sunday, but then they would be in action on Wednesday to begin their Midwest tour against the Milwaukee Admirals, falling 4-3. But tip of the cap to the Texas Stars, they were down 3-1 after 2 periods, able to fight back and force overtime. Goaltender Matt Jarusik would be the biggest key for Texas in that hockey game. 44 saves to help his club at least earn a standings point in that contest. And for the scoring success for Texas, they have relied on their power play here as of late. It's starting to warm up. A 4-game power play goal scoring streak for them with 6 power play tallies over those last 4 contests. And in fact, they've had perfect games here recently. They've gone 1-for-1 and 2-for-2 in both of those contests last weekend against the Charlotte Checkers. And on the road, they have been dominant. A 6-game road power play point streak and goal scoring streak for them with 8 power play tallies, 8-for-16. How about that? 50% the Texas Stars are entering in tonight's matchup on the road over those last 6 games. In fact, a 27.3% success rate on the man advantage when away from HEB Center. That is second best on the road in the American Hockey League. The IceHogs are going to have their hands full and need to stay discipline. They're led by forward Curtis McKenzie, the longtime veteran who the IceHogs know really well, and then another player they know well is former IceHog Anthony Lewis. For McKenzie, 20 points for him to lead the Stars overall. Lewis right behind him at 19 points. And for Lewis, 9 goals, and McKenzie 9 goals as well. And for Anthony Lewis, he's been playing pretty well, 3 goals and 2 assists over his last 4 games, and that includes a hat trick for the former IceHog against the Manitoba Moose on January 8th. For the head-to-head series, tonight is the 5th of 8 meetings between the two clubs and the first of 4 in a row here at BMO Harris Bank Center. Not 4 in a row consecutively, but the final 4 get-togethers of the head-to-head series after the first 4 would all take place at Cedar Park and HEB Center. Now, both clubs would split that series and down in Texas with a 2-2-0 record, identical for both clubs entering tonight. They would last meet on December 17th and 18th and would split those contests. The IceHogs in game number 1 would come away with a 3-1 victory, and that was the game, if you remember back, when goaltender Colin Delia would be credited with the goal, become the first IceHogs AHL goaltender to do so, and then the Stars would bounce back with a 3-2 victory the very next night. And for Texas, even though it is cold up here in the Midwest, they might be happy to be back at the BMO. It's the first time since February of 2020, nearly 2 years since the Stars had traveled to BMO Harris Bank Center. If you think back to last year, though, Texas did participate in the shortened COVID-19 season. They did not travel to the state line. So a lot to take in and a lot to prepare for your Rockford IceHogs as they take the ice against the Texas Stars this evening on $2 Bud Light Friday, the first of a 2-game weekend. Well, coming up on IceHogs Warmup, we're going to hear from assistant coach Jared Nightingale, get his breakdown of the IceHogs' most recent performance on Monday and how he wants to turn things around going into tonight's showdown. And we'll also hear from some great community partners like the Bucef Farrow McDonald's, Lawn Care by Walter, and Hyundai on Perryville, as Lawn Care by Walter, the presenting sponsor of our wonderful 11th annual Autism Awareness Night. So stick around for more IceHogs Warmup.